Welcome to Little Minds, Big Ideas. I'm Nathaniel, an early childhood teacher working in preschool. In this episode, we explore what deep thinking means for young children today and how we can grow it through simple everyday teaching moves. I'll show you how think alouds make thinking visible, when they help, when they don't, and how to use them briefly but powerfully. I will also share two short classroom demonstrations and a practical routine you can try this week. What is deep thinking in early childhood? When people think of deep thinking, they often picture older students solving complex problems or writing essays. But in early childhood, deep thinking happens when children wonder, question, test, and explain. It sounds like, why did the water go this way? What will happen if I mix these two colors? How can I stop my tower from falling? Deep thinking isn't about using big words. It's about forming connections, explaining ideas, and reflecting on what worked and what didn't. The early years learning framework tells us that children are confident and involved learners when they explore, investigate, and persist. This connects strongly to Vygotsky's idea of the zone of proximal development, where children learn best when supported by someone more experienced. Bruner called this process scaffolding, temporary support that helps children reach higher levels of thinking on their own. So, deep thinking starts when we make our own thought processes visible, then gradually step back and let children take the lead. Why does it matter in the 21st century? Children today are surrounded by information. They can access facts instantly, but thinking well, questioning, comparing, and reasoning takes practice. The National Quality Standard, especially Quality Area 1, asks educators to create learning programs that promote active thinking through intentional teaching. And Outcome 4 of the ELF encourages educators to help children become curious, cooperative, confident, and persistent. So deep thinking isn't just an extra skill. It's essential for life in a complex, changing world. What is a think aloud? A think aloud is when a teacher speaks their thinking process out loud. It's a way to model how a thinker works, how we predict, test, and check our ideas. For example, instead of saying, put this here, we might say, I'm thinking this block should go on the bottom so the tower stays strong. Through these short verbal models, children begin to use the same kind of language. They start saying things like, I am checking if it is straight, or I am trying again. That is the foundation of metacognition, thinking about one's own thinking. Think aloud demonstration floating and sinking. Let me share a short think aloud from my own classroom. We were exploring floating and sinking during water play. I wonder if this rock will float or sink. It feels heavy, so I predict it will sink. I L tested, yes, it sank right to the bottom, so maybe heavy things sink. Now I L try this leaf. It's S light and flat, so I predicted might float. Let's see. Yes, it floats. I'm comparing the rock and the leaf. The rock is heavy and solid, but the leaf has air and space. That makes me think that lighter things with air can float. I'll check one more. This sponge. It floats, but when I press it down, it pops back up. Maybe air inside helps it stay on the top. That's a think aloud. It's short, clear, and full of reasoning words predict, compare, check, and think. The children quickly began to echo these ideas. The spoon sank too. The leaf is floating because it is light. When I model my thinking, children learn how to reason and use evidence. This builds the habit of inquiry, not just the habit of copying. Evaluating the think aloud strategy. Let us evaluate this approach. First, the benefits. 1. It makes thinking visible. Children can see how ideas form. 2. It builds metacognition. Children start noticing and naming their own thoughts. 3. It supports collaboration. One child's idea becomes the starting point for others now. The limitations tower too long, children tune out. 5. If we always explain, children may stop exploring on their own. And not all children express thinking with words. Some show it through building, drawing, or acting. So, think alouds are powerful but conditional. They work best when they were short, intentional, and followed by children as on exploration. Deep thinking doesn't only happen in planned lessons. It can appear anywhere in the day. During block play, I might say, I am checking the base to see if it's strong enough. Then the child says, I need more blocks here. That's early engineering. During story time, I might say, I think the bear looks worried because his eyes are small and his mouth is down. Children begin to reason from evidence. He's sad because his toy is gone. During outdoor play, I might say, this water is moving too fast. I am thinking if I make another path, it might slow down. Children then test, adjust, and explain. That S problem, solving in action. So deep thinking isn't T about what we teach. It's S about how we listen, model, and respond. Here's another think aloud. This time during story reading, I'm noticing the rabbit is standing far away from the others. The face looks sad. I wonder why. Maybe the rabbit feels left out. I'll look for evidence on the next page. Yes, the others are playing without him. That makes me predict he might find a way to join them later. Then I ask the children, what makes you think that? They point to the pictures and share their reasons. They are learning to explain ideas with evidence, an early form of critical reasoning. A simple routine for practice here, as a quick 3-step routine that I use to keep Think Aloud effective. One silent model for 1 minute doing. Choose one thinking, skill predict, compare, or check and say it aloud. 2 prompt children silent, turn to a partner and tell them what your brain is doing. 3 find, share and record find the. Write their words on a chart called Our Thinking Moves. This structure is short, clear, and manageable. It helps children take ownership of the thinking language, and it keeps the class active and engaged. It also reflects intentional teaching under NQS Quality Area 1, and Outcome 4 of the Early Childhood Learning Framework, but in child-friendly ways. My evaluation and professional judgment from my experience think alouds are most successful when they are short and focused on one idea, and be followed by exploration or partner talk and stay and connected to real experiences. Not worksheets, they are less effective when the teacher dominates the conversation or when the focus becomes giving the right answer. My professional judgment is this. Think alouds are valuable tools for promoting deep thinking, but only when they are interactive, intentional, and reflective. As Richard reminds us in his work on visible thinking, real learning happens when students engage with ideas, not just repeat them. In early childhood, this begins with the teacher voice, but must quickly move to the children voices. So, to sum up, deep thinking for the 21st century starts with small intentional acts of teaching. When we model our thinking, children learn to observe, predict, test, and reflect. But the magic happens when we stop talking and let them take over. Here is my challenge for you in your next session. Pick one everyday moment, block play, story time, or outdoor exploration, and try a 1 minute think aloud. Say your thoughts aloud once, then pause, ask, what do you think will happen next? Record what children say. That's where real learning begins. I'm Nathaniel, and this was Little Minds, Big Ideas. Thank you for listening, and remember, when we make thinking visible, little minds grow big ideas.